Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. So today's video is about people that are in the inside, getting inside information and then making money with that information. Now, for the people that don't know, they might just see that as, what's the problem? You know stuff and you're going to do stuff with the knowledge that you know, so you're going to make money, okay? But the problem is that's called insider trading, and that's illegal when it comes to the stock market. Now, there's some people that are in government that know when, let's say, a war is gonna start or some pandemic is gonna happen. So then they move their assets or their stocks and to purchase. Let's just say, for the people that don't know, we're gonna go through a crash course right now. You get the knowledge that this brand is going to do very well tomorrow, okay? And right now, the stock on this brand is $1. So what you do is you buy a shit ton of this stock because it's cheap. It's only $1 per stock. Why wouldn't you? And then tomorrow it goes up from $1 to $5 each, and then if you put a $1,000 in there, you made $5 in a day. You get it? That's what's happening. That's kind of messed up because you shouldn't be doing that. And we have this guy over here named Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley, talking about it. And let's see what this man says, huh? On top of that, if you like this video, please don't forget to like the video. Subscribe. That would be nice. Let's go.
But I am 100% committed to banning stock trading by members of Congress. So I'm not going to be dissuaded from that one way or another.
I agree.
And we can throw up as much chaff as you want to, but the fact of the matter is, members of Congress should not be trading stock. They should not be. Congress is a rich man's club. That's the problem. That's what we're trying to fix. I would suspect that I probably have the fewest assets of anybody sitting on this dais. I am not a rich man, unlike those to my left. So, I mean, listen, the American people look at people like the former Speaker of the House, who makes better returns than anybody in America. They look at senators who were investigated during the COVID pandemic for their miraculous stock trades, and they say, how is this possible? To think that this might become a problem in the future is frankly fanciful. It's a problem now. It is, and it's not just in perception, it is reality. Members of Congress are trading daily based on information that the public doesn't have.
And now I'd like to recognize Senator Hawley for his comments.
You see, as I was saying, the problem is it's that you're trading with information that other people don't have. And that's just not right. That's cheating. That's like playing a sport and then cheating to win. That's cheating. That's what it is in the stock. That's the equivalent of taking steroids while playing a sport, while playing baseball, that's the equivalent.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for working so diligently on this and accommodating my many suggestions and concerns over a period of months to make this the strongest possible bill. I think it's a terrific bill. Senator Scott threatened me a moment ago that if I made a lengthy statement, we might lose his vote. So I will be extremely brief. I just want to point out that the historic nature of this finally getting to a vote. There's been a lot of talk about banning stock trading by members of Congress. Never have we been able to get a vote. We're going to get that vote today. And I just think that this is such a simple proposition. The American people, when I go home and I say to folks, they ask me about stock trading, here's the thing that absolutely stuns them. They can't believe that it's legal already. They can't believe we can currently do it. Most members of the public think it's already banned. And when I say actually it's 100% legal, they say why? And there's no good answer to that question. We should be here to focus on the public's business, not private gain. We shouldn't be here day trading. We shouldn't be here focusing on our stock portfolios. We should be here doing what the American people sent us to do. And that's what this bill is about. To fix, I would suspect that I probably have the fewest assets of anybody sitting on this dais. I am not a rich man, unlike those to my left. So, I mean, listen, the American people look at people like the former Speaker of the House, who makes better returns than anybody in America. They look at senators who were investigated during the COVID pandemic for their miraculous stock trades, and they say, how is this possible? To think that this might become a problem in the future is frankly fanciful. It's a problem now. It is, and it's not just in perception, it is reality. Members of Congress are trading daily based on information that the public doesn't have. And now we've heard the insider trading. I understand that insider trading is banned, but let's be honest. Members of Congress get information that is technically not insider information, as defined by the securities laws, that is nevertheless extremely beneficial to know, and often we get it earlier than other people do. That's why senators rushed to trade stock at the beginning of the pandemic. And were investigated for it. Ultimately couldn't be prosecuted because technically it wasn't a violation of the securities laws. Was it a good idea? No. Should it be happening? I submit that it should not be. So again, I just want to say to anybody who would like to support this bill but says I have concerns over technical aspects of the drafting, I hear you loud and clear, and I'm happy to work with you on that.
Answering your question, former President Trump owns 114 million shares of Trump Media and Technology Group Corp., worth $3.776 billion. He would be required to divest that. All right? That would be at a massive disadvantage for him.
Think about that.
Not to mention his other investments. So you have Senator Johnson is.
So then what it mean is for the people in government, in Congress, president, you name it, they would have to get rid of all their stock assets, or could they put them on a freeze? Like, can they hedge it or something? I wonder, because I didn't even think about that. Because when Donald Trump becomes president, all those stocks that he has, what's going on with that?
Proposed, what makes a lot of sense, which is to say, if you have investments, you don't have to sell them to run for office. You can't trade. But I didn't say this bill wasn't drafted quickly or hastily. I said it was drafted poorly. All right. There are a number of things the bill does which ought to be done, which I would support. But causing people that are running for office, including the President of the United States, to have to divest of all their public and private enterprise securities is simply something that's a mistake.
Yeah, I don't agree with that one.
People from running from office, including the person who's the Republican nominee for president.
Senator Marshall, recognized for comments, and then Senator Langford, you're next.
So thank you, Mr. Chairman. Certainly, I acknowledge the issue you all are describing, but I'm still going to support this bill. I think it's important enough that we get it to the next step, and hopefully the process can improve it. I would be impacted by the current legislation and have to divest myself of companies that we own prior to getting here. I agree with you completely, but I think this is so important. We need to move forward. My only wish is that we would have included spouses the moment it impacts us, because that's where it's being abused, is on spouses making some of these trades. When you have hundreds of thousands of people following a spouse's member of Congress through a Twitter feed, obviously there is a problem. So I'm ready to move forward with it. Appreciate everyone's efforts on this, and yes, it's got to be amended going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Langford.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As a person who's seen to the left of Senator Hawley, we should put our bank accounts side by side and do some comparisons on it. As a former youth pastor, let me just ask a couple of questions on this. Senator Marshall, I think committee is the place to be able to hammer this out rather than between committee and the floor. Committees are designed to be able to have this kind of conversation to be able to figure it out. And my concern is this gives the perception of members of Congress are no longer trading, wink, wink, nod, nod, unless it's an ETF, unless it's a mutual fund, unless it's other things. So you can't trade Apple or Microsoft stock, but you could trade QQQ, which has a huge percentage in those, and basically do the same thing. That's allowed in this bill. And so if we're going to try to give the perception that this is blocking members of Congress from owning or trading stocks, but ignore this other part of the market where they're still able to play in the market in that area,
true.
I just think it's just not being consistent for us.
Wow.
That if we're going to say we're out of the market, then we're out of the market. If we're not, then let's find a way to manage this. The Stock Act, when we passed that, and I'm one of those that voted for it as well, the Stock Act said it's already illegal to be able to trade stocks with insider information. And to make sure that there's maximum amount of enforcement and transparency, everybody's got to disclose every transaction that you have over $1,000. It's all got to be out there in the public eye, and it's got to be immediate. And there is accountability on that. I would tell you, as a member of the ethics committee, we do get contacts from folks saying, there was this trade that happened, I saw it, I tracked it, they were in this committee at this time, they were in this meeting. So some of that dialogue does happen behind the scenes to be able to go through all that. It also, this bill would say that I couldn't own or trade stocks, but my chief of staff who set up the meeting, who actually met with those people first, now they could.
Oh,
The
damn.
legislative person that sat in the meeting with me, when that inside conversation happened, they could trade on stocks, in fact, on that stock, but I couldn't. So it creates this very interesting, who's actually engaged in actually more inside information than us is our staff. And our staff are all exempted from this bill, saying they have access to all that information, but members of Congress actually cannot. And actually college-age kids are also exempt from this. So a dependent child of a member of Congress, they can't trade on the stock. But if they're 19, they could. And the whole issue of crypto that's come up, we haven't discussed here, but my understanding is this also would preclude a member of Congress from owning cryptocurrency as well. And that's a big conversation as well on the whole digital side of things that we haven't had discussion on. My issue is not this topic. I don't want anyone to be able to trade on inside information, which is already illegal. And I don't want to even create that perception of trading on that. But again, this is not trading, this is owning. And this has a lot of exceptions that are built into it that gives the perception of saying we're not involved in the market when we really are involved in the market, just in other places in the market. And oh, by the way, our staff's still involved in all that, but we're not. It just begs some questions that I think need to be answered, and I think the right.
This bill that they're trying to pass, or if they are, I don't know, if they did already, whatever it is. From listening to this guy, what do you say? He used to be a youth pastor, Mr. Langford. Very smart. He's talking about so many different. This bill looks like it's like Swiss cheese. There's so many holes and loopholes in it, and you really, when it comes to certain things like this, I guess when it comes to any sort of bill that's kind of major, there's so many different loopholes when it comes to it, unless you have somebody or lawyers looking through every nook and cranny on how so it can't be, manipulated in such a way. It's kind of nuts. Whoever has to think and type up and, go through these bills, that's a difficult job. I'm sure it's a group of people, not just one person, but it's still a difficult job, I'm sure.
A place to answer it is in committee to be able to argue through this and to be able to figure out what's the best way to write it and do it, rather than hoping it gets better when it gets to the floor.
I agree with that.
Senator Scott.
So I'm similar to Senator Johnson. I sold my operating businesses, and many of them had more than 1,000 employees before I ran for the Senate. So, but it does make sense. I don't know. We don't want people to do any insider trading, but is there ability to amend the bill now to just say that it's not going to apply to what you own when you come into the Senate or whatever job there is, because that might alleviate a lot of the concerns.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I think that, you don't care about my opinion. I'm sure you don't. But if you, relax there. Anyways, I think that regardless of any information, if you received it prior to the knowledge of everyone else, that's insider information. You should not trade on it. It's illegal, and you could go to jail. Now, what that former youth pastor guy was talking about, how so many different loopholes in the actual bill itself, how if you're under the age of 19 or different type of cryptos, how the guy mentioned how Donald Trump becoming president will then have to get rid of his $3.6 billion worth of assets he owns in his stock portfolio. So there's a lot. Very interesting. Very interesting. I wonder what they're going to do. I wonder if they're just going to prevent, if somebody in your family who's a close relative is in government in this position, you can't be in the stock market. It's going to be tracked or something. I don't know. I don't know how they could do that. I don't know. Who knows? I'm sure somebody knows, but not me. But anyways, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you liked the video. And if you want to go above and beyond, click subscribe. And there's a link down below, a link to a shop. We have these stickers, George Orwell stickers from the book Animal Farm. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. If you know, you know. And they're eating the pets. These are almost out. We're almost sold out of those magnets. On top of that, look at this shirt. What? Look at that design. Wow. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you all in another video.